This is a Kirblog on Kingdom Hearts 4. And I'm joined by Germ and also Michaela. Not bad. Came up with that in 5 whole seconds. You proud of me, guys?
Mhm.
I suppose.
Yeah. They're already like, I just hear bum bum. They're just gone immediately. Hi. Haven't done a Kerblog in a hot century, it feels like. While I was gone in Florida, just biz casually, they dropped among other things for I think it was the 20th anniversary of Kingdom Hearts, a trailer for Kingdom Hearts IV Drip. I mean, 4. I was very shocked. And we all watched it and had feelings. So
Yes.
I thought, why not express them? So I normally have Ben and Heather join me for Kingdom Hearts related stuff, but they're both quite busy with things, day jobs and things. So, Ben's day job being Heather's day job of being a flight attendant, and Ben's day job of being an Emmy award winning nice guy motherfucker. But nonetheless, Germ, JT Beyond, and Michaela Toxic Soul 77 are back with me again. Hi guys.
Hey.
Hello.
Hi. I guess to start with, let's talk about what is our experience with Kingdom Hearts games. Jerem, why don't you start?
Sure. I have played Kingdom Hearts 1. I beat Kingdom Hearts 1, I beat Kingdom Hearts 2, and I've played a good amount of Chain Memories, and I know most of the story and shit. Have I played any others? I've played little bits of the other ones, but I've never really gotten too far.
Have you
But I do know
watched
what
like the story content of some of the ones you hadn't played?
I haven't watched them, but I know what goes on in those
Okay,
games.
gotcha. From probably people like me explaining, ridiculously overcomplicated summaries of the stories.
Yes, of course, I
Yeah.
understand because I love Kingdom Hearts too.
Yes,
So.
absolutely. Michaela, how about you?
Um, my first introduction to them was back when I solely played on the DS. Um, so 365 slash whatever the fuck days was my first exposure
Yeah,
to.
I call that 355 divided by the square root of Roxas's butthole. That's what I call that game. That was your first Kingdom
Also,
Hearts game.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
then I went back and I kind of I played I think a bit of one, but it was at a friend's place. I never got to finish it.
Yeah.
Um and the rest I watched playthroughs of and stuff, so I have context.
Okay. You were gonna
I
say?
also love
Yeah.
how, yeah, I love how Mickey, you said it's like 350 guys or whatever. That you said the hard part correctly first, and to make it so you didn't look like as much of a nerd, didn't say the rest of
Oh
it.
shit, I know the nerd. I know the name. Fuck. Ah.
Well, evidently, I found that that wasn't an uncommon thing. That game was some people's first Kingdom Hearts game because it just happened because everybody in their mother had a DS,
Yeah.
so it just happened. And it's lots of really hot anime guys. What's not to like? But I have to imagine that was probably very confusing jumping straight into.
You're supposed to eat sea salt ice cream with now.
All the time, yeah. I love probably people that are subscribed to my channel know this, but I've played the majority of them. The ones that I haven't played, I have watched either playthroughs of or at least the movie compilations of from various things. So I've 3058 Days is not one of the ones I've played. Funnily enough, I've only watched the cutscenes of those before. And actually worth noting, you guys have not played 3.
No, that's the
No.
one game I don't know shit about.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know absolutely nothing about.
Well, I mean, I'm sure probably what you've seen in the trailers in terms of oh, okay, these are like the Disney worlds that they had Frozen and Pirates and Tangled and Big Hero 6
Yeah,
and
but
all that
that's
kind of
literally
stuff.
all I know.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, no actual story content. So I
Nope.
know that you guys are at least interested in playing 3 at some point, as
Yeah.
far as I know. So I'm going to attempt to not spoil things too much about anything, too spoilery in Kingdom Hearts 3's story. But yeah, so that said, we watched this trailer, and they didn't give away too much in terms of like the really hardcore stuff that you'd have to know from playing 3. However, so the people who had played 3 were and also some hints that were given at the end of the what the hell is it called? The DDR style like rhythm game, not DDR, the rhythm game that they did recently, the Memory of Melody, I think it's called.
Yeah.
There was some because that takes place after 3, and there was some further information in that game given about Quadratum, which is this very hyper realistic Unreal Engine world that Sora has found himself in with along with Strelitzia, who's this character that I only know a few things about from the mobile game. I should also mention that even as hardcore of a Kingdom Hearts fan as I am, at least compared to the two of you guys, my knowledge of the stuff from the mobile game literally comes from Heather, who knows
For the
all
longest
that stuff.
time I didn't know there was a mobile game.
Yeah.
Like I don't know like jack shit
Yeah,
about
and
that game.
not only that there's a mobile game, but that there are very important lore things in that mobile game, constantly updated from the like episodic things that they add to it. Although, from my understanding, is Kingdom Hearts Key is done, and now they're doing Dark Road, which is like the Xehanort Origin one that is, I think, getting close to ending this year. And I guess also it's worth noting they are going to be doing another mobile game. That's what is it considered, like an augmented reality type of thing? Because I guess it's like Pokemon Go, where like you can move around in real life, and somehow that affects the world or something like that. I'm not entirely sure, but God knows that will also be related to the plot in certain ways too. I will not be indulging in playing it.
It's called Missing Link.
Missing Link, yes, that's right. I would like to preserve my finger bones, so I will not be playing that, and I will just be watching footage of that when necessary. Nonetheless, so Quadratum, hyper-realistic downtown Tokyo world. Not the most positive reaction from you guys when you saw it.
I think not the most positive reaction in general,
From
honestly.
the entire internet. Yeah, Twitter fucking hated how it looked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My reaction was a little more tempered because I knew the context of what that world was to a little bit of a greater extent. Now, it's still shrouded in a lot of mystery, but I knew enough basic things to know that, okay, this is just how this, and as I was correct, because there was a recent interview with Nomura, I think shortly after the 20th anniversary event, that is just how that specific world looks. That is not how Kingdom Hearts 4 as a whole is going to look, which I know set some minds at ease, but it was a little jarring for you guys.
Yes. Because I saw this and initially was like, they ruined Kingdom Hearts. Hooray. and I went to my butthurt baby corner and shit myself. That's what I did. And then Kirb was like, hey, Nomura said this world looks gay and it's okay, don't worry. And I came out of my corner and wiped my butt. And I'm like, okay, I'm down.
Well, to go into a little more, particularly as to why, is because you guys were concerned about, does this mean that, the cartoony side of Kingdom Hearts that separates it from, like, the hyper-realistic Final Fantasy type stuff, is that gone? And it's not, so, I imagine that was a little relieving, but that was kind of where that fear came from, I'm assuming, right?
Yeah, because they did the same thing to Final Fantasy. Like, I was just like, no, they're doing it again.
Yeah.
Don't do it. I love it.
How did you guys feel when, at the end, Donald and Goofy show up and, they looked about as they did from 3, so.
What?
I was, did that, seeing them, did that set your guys' minds at ease a little bit more?
Yeah, no, that definitely, like, was like, okay, they wouldn't look like that, like, if the world was just going to statically be the realistic, like, bullshit.
Yeah.
So, like, that gave me a little bit more hope, but at the same time, I'm like, how else would they have designed them? Would have they made them like a shitty Sonic movie version of them?
Well, that does beg the question, because, okay, here's the thing. I don't, personally, I don't mind too hard when franchises want to evolve and change and go in different directions and try some different things. I don't have any kind of particular negative issue one way or the other about that. But I do understand where, like, you know, you don't want to stray too far away from what makes it what it is.
I do when the art direction is so radically changed that it's like it doesn't look anything like what it used to be.
Mm-hmm.
Especially when there was nothing wrong with the old art style to begin with.
Yeah. I don't personally mind the fact that this specific world is just the way that it is, that it looks like this, because I think that since, okay, it's just this world, then I think that's kind of exciting. That's kind of interesting. And if anything, that makes me kind of curious of like, yeah, what the hell would they do if Donald and Goofy or any Disney characters get there? It would be, you know, what would be hysterical is if they looked like the way that like the Disneyland suits look.
Yeah, I thought that's what you were gonna say. That would be funny.
Like, that would be kind of disturbing. I don't know if I would like that more or less than, I think, Michaela, were you the one that linked me that image of like Donald and Goofy were literally just like a realistic like duck and dog just like hanging out with the outfits on.
Yeah.
Yeah, so well, and what do we think of? I mean, in that setting itself, we had a battle with quite a kaiju-sized Heartless. What did you guys think of that?
See, that part was cool.
Yeah, the Heartless looks cool. The environments don't. I believe, and I'm going to reserve proper judgment until I see a trailer with a closer to release build, because the actual like environment looks very like Unity store asset-y. And that concerns me. Or like this couch, this table looks like it was made in 20 minutes.
Well, evidently, the one of the scenes in like the sort of foresty area, which I want to talk about that in a minute, but apparently one of Nomura's comments in response to them showing him that was like, "Why did you send me live action footage?"
Yeah, it is weird that the forest looks so damn good, but the room Sora is in the trailer is so bad looking.
well, in terms of even beyond the environment itself, in terms of just the gameplay, like that fight, because I mean, for all I know, that could be the opening like kind of tutorial fight. Was that at least exciting to you guys in terms of like how that looked? Yeah.
Nice little reference to all of the other Kingdom Hearts games where you fight that thing, but now it's like, instead of it being in my fucking dream, it's real.
Yeah,
he's real.
Yeah. Well, if this world is real,
probably isn't. Knowing most Kingdom Hearts games and how they're like, yeah, the starting world you're in is either like kind of fake or no, it's always just kind of fake.
Well, evidently, and I talked to you guys a little bit about this. I'll go into this. This will dip a little bit into some of the 3 story content, but it's not a major part of the story. It was more of like the teasing into, you know, this next bit. But evidently, Quadratum is the introduction of a new conceptual type of world, because through the other games, we've had worlds built from memories, like the places you go to in Chain of Memories. We've had worlds built from data, like in Recoded. We've had worlds built from people's dreams, like in Dream Drop Distance. And apparently Quadratum, from what the implications have been, is it is a fictional world. Like, somehow the fact that it came from somebody's imagination, perhaps, and then because it was like somehow given a manifested form for somebody to go to. How exactly that works and why and how Sora got there, we don't know. That is a mystery.
If I had to give a guess, it would be because the series is very heavy on believe in your dreams and your heart and your passion. I imagine the idea is that whoever created this world put their heart, soul, and passion into it, and it brought it to life.
Yeah. I have a theory about that. Are you guys familiar with, well, Master Yen Sid, who's the wizard guy from Disney's Fantasia, right? Do you guys remember, he was from Birth by Sleep, the character Master Ericus?
Uh, yes.
He was I'll get a picture of him. He was the older guy that was like the sensei to Terra, Aqua, and Ventus.
Yeah.
So, Ericus, much like how Yen Sid is Disney backwards, Ericus is like not quite backwards, but square rearranged. So Disney and Square, right? And they're both masters of the Keyblade from the ancient times. And he looks kind of like I want to say his name is Sakaguchi is his last name. He was like the head guy of the Final Fantasy series from like way back. I believe. I don't quote me on that, but I believe that's possibly what he's based on a little bit. I think it would be really funny, and I know it would be totally like presumptuous or like not presumptuous. I don't know the word for that, whatever, but it would be kind of amusing if they introduced some kind of character that is like an analog of Nomura, and he is the one that came up with Quadratum, like in the Kingdom Hearts universe, like it comes from his imagination.
That was so
That'd be
cute,
kind of cool.
yeah.
I have a reason as to why I think that, but that has to do. When you play 3, then I'll get to that.
It is Hironobu Sakaguchi.
Yes. Okay, that's what I thought. Yeah, I believe that Ericus looks a little bit like.
Yeah, no, wait. I'm looking in his face. You're right.
Yeah. I guess, well, still on the note of the gameplay parts, and I know that you guys haven't played 3, but I was kind of selling you guys on. In my opinion, having played most of the major ones, I've played 1 and 2, Birth by Sleep, Dream Drop Distance, and Chain of Memories are all the ones that I've played fully from start to finish. And I would say that gameplay-wise, 3 is like the best of all worlds. I think that it incorporates elements of all of them and makes them all infinitely better than they've ever been. That to me, anyway. Some people disagreed with that. Is there anything in terms of gameplay that you guys are like hoping for or that you're excited about from that little bit of the trailer that you saw?
Not particularly, because it's like I always knew that Kingdom Hearts 2's like combat was just like evolved.
Yeah.
And that's the one I know the most.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, oh, it just looks like that, but with some more movement options. That's fun.
Michaela, anything from you?
No.
Yeah, it's little tiny bit, a little bit of a taste that we got, just about the same amount of taste we got from the Kingdom Hearts 3 original trailer that we got from way back as well. Apparently they showed this at the time that they did for the anniversary event because they wanted to prevent leaks. If I had to guess, because as it stands, the only other game that is being developed in between this is the new mobile game. If I had to guess, I would say 2025. You think that might be humanly possible for this one?
Yeah. This stuff, it's either 2025 or 2026 because the stuff looks early.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And knowing that we're not going to get, like 4 spin-offs in between 2 and 3, like the way that we got between 2 and 3. And
we're just getting one.
Yeah, this is the one that we're getting. Yeah, and a mobile game, I think. Well, not that mobile games don't have a lot of development put into them too, potentially, but like it's not the same.
It's not as much as this.
Yeah.
The whole point of them making it is like, we can make this and put it out while we work on the big mamma jamma that's killing all of our employees.
So the big thing that I know we were talking about, I know this is the most exciting part about these kind of discussions when it comes to Kingdom Hearts. As it stands right now, according to what they said, the world selection is currently in progress. According to the translations that came from a guest starring Hubert, Germ's baby boy, cute baby boy cat. Kitty. We don't know what the Disney worlds will be yet. Looking at the past games, there are anywhere from about 8 to 10 per game. Kingdom Hearts, I think, had about 8 or so. They revealed all of which before the game came out. So there's we've had quite a few very impressive Disney and Pixar movies come out, since then. and during then as well that were not necessarily covered, and still plenty of classic ones that haven't been covered yet, and a few other repeating ones that surprisingly weren't visited in 3 necessarily. So we talked a lot about our hopes and dreams and aspirations for this next one. Who would like to start on their thoughts and hopes and theories for these?
Mickey, why don't you start?
Yes, I know you have lots that you're excited about.
Oh, there's a lot of ones that I know that aren't going to happen, and are the ones that I want the most. We can all attest that we all want a fucking treasure planet.
Yeah.
I just saw on Twitter a comic that was showing, like, Sora, Donald, and Goofy in Treasure Planet.
Yeah,
I want it so bad. That is, like, my number one. I would die if they added it. Like,
Well, and honestly, I was really hoping that would be the case for 3. I spent like so many years of my life thinking, oh, that'll be a shoo-in for 3. It's gotta be, of course, right? Mm-hmm. Not, stupid me thinking, well, it wasn't a financial success. It's more of a cult classic and usually liked by animation nerds like us and shit. So
it's just like after having so many games internally, you're just like, what other worlds can they actually do? So you're like, why don't they do the world I want?
Yeah. Well, I think that with every game, there's always like, oh, it would be really cool if they, because I can remember as a kid when 2 was first being announced, and we got the first couple trailers that didn't show off too much at the time. I was really desperately hoping for a Lion King level. And when they finally revealed that, and it was pretty great, honestly. I think that
it was a good level,
ones, absolutely. I'm not necessarily hoping for a Lion King 2 stage or Lion Guard or anything like that necessarily. But Treasure Planet, I thought for so long. But then let's talk about that for a second. Let's just be hypothetical. If they were to do it, what would it be? Would it just be the ship? Would it be the actual planet that they go to and just that part, or would it be the port? What do you think?
No, they probably follow the story.
Like
there's not too many. Yeah, it's probably
there's a couple planets. There's the port. Yeah, like there's the port that's like the moon. There's the planet that Jim is from.
Port, fake fan.
I'm just saying it in general terms in case some people don't fucking know.
Well, and then, if they know, they're cool. Yes. If they don't, die.
Go watch Treasure Planet. It's probably on Disney Plus. I hope to God it is.
I can actually check that right now.
Yeah. I would hope so. They probably have all their classic movies on there, I imagine.
Yeah.
I don't have Disney Plus, so I wouldn't know.
Yeah, they do.
Okay, good.
If I had to be realistic about it, I could see them starting on the boat.
Totally on it.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I could see them starting on the boat and then getting to the planet. That's like, and like doing what they do on the planet.
Well,
if I had to think about how Kingdom Hearts would do it, that's probably how they would. Though Munchausen Spaceport would be fucking sick.
Yeah, I mean, I really want to go there more than any other place.
Even fucking, yeah. I could even see them doing the whole movie and starting at Jim Hawkins' planet, and then you get to do that cool, but like in a Kingdom Hearts style, so you're probably flying. The cool I forget his solar board or whatever they called it. I don't remember.
Oh yeah. Like
you could do that basically. I can even see Sora riding on it with him.
Well,
running away from Heartless or something.
Here's something that I as I'm thinking about this, that unfortunately I think would also shoot it down a little bit. So there's another kind of, and especially now that I've worked in game development a little bit more and I have a little bit of a different sensibility, there's another factor that I've thought about when it comes to the selection of Kingdom Hearts levels that actually isn't even necessarily related to like, oh, how relevant is this Disney movie? How big is this? How cool would it be? How much, fan demand would there be? It's also about general level design, right? Because you think back to, let's use the first one as an example. And there was a pretty wide variety of stages that we got in the first Kingdom Hearts. But let's take away the Disney motifs for a second. The first one had, Alice in Wonderland is a forest level.
That one's terrible.
Tarzan is a jungle level.
That's also terrible.
Peter Pan is a pirate ship level.
That one pisses me off.
You're really helping the case of Kingdom Hearts 1, which is
I know and I love it. I'm super nostalgic for it, and I love it. But
it's
there's
also
so many
jank.
stages.
It is jank as hell.
It is. It is super jank.
What? Oh God, help me out with the first one.
Agrabah.
Agrabah is desert and kind of like Arabian town type of level.
Monstroso.
Monstroso is the inside of Jabu Jabu's belly type of level, etc. And then even in the other ones like Pirates of the Caribbean was the
Pirates of the Caribbean
this sea level, right? And then like Frozen in the third one was the snow level. It's the thing about the variety of the stages, right? Like it's all about.
Well, you can even argue with Treasure Planet. It's the space level. Like,
well, right now, and here's the thing about that. So Kingdom Hearts 3 had another Pirates of the Caribbean level. They decided to skip past 2, and they just had it be the plot of 3. A little bit of a spoiler for that, but more or less, whatever. It's actually a very, very cool level. Massive improvement from how the Kingdom Hearts 2 Pirates level looked. Like,
I always thought it was fun, though.
But it's the 1 and 3 is fucking fantastic.
Well, yeah, it looks like it. I've seen video of it, and I'm like, that almost looks real, and that's freaking me out.
Well, and one of the coolest things about that stage is because they had a lot of unique mechanics in each of the Disney stages, and one of them was that you could actually control the pirate ship and explore a giant ocean, kind of like Wind Waker, Zelda Wind Waker, and so that in and of itself is like the explorative, kind of semi-open world, almost like a Mario 64 level, if anything, that kind of like sandbox stage, right? So, and there was something that you pointed out, because we talked about this. When you saw Quadratum and you didn't, know the context of what that world was, Germ, your initial thought was, oh my God, is this the MCU? Are they doing Marvel?
Yeah.
Right? And then I had to point out, no, this is its own separate thing. And frankly, because I know that's the big question is, are they going to do some of these other non-Disney Pixar properties? I personally don't necessarily think that they'll touch Marvel yet.
Yeah, I'm uncertain about Marvel.
Yes, but I actually do, after talking out with you with this, because you pointed out there was a shot in the kind of realistic forest stuff from which I'm pretty sure is still just Quadratum, but you thought that it was Star Wars. You thought that it was.
Yes,
I think
it
is it Naboo? I think, right?
No, it would probably be Endor.
That's from the from Return of the Jedi, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
There is what looks like the foot of an AT-AT walker.
Yeah. Michaela and I are biz casual Star Wars fans at best. Her much more so.
And some of the fauna did not look earthly in that place, but I'm probably wrong and just a stupid American.
Well, no, but
this country.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Oh no, mine was gonna be off topic. So
no, go ahead.
But I do really think Star Wars is going to be there.
I agree. Yeah.
I could make the argument that Star Wars could theoretically, even though it probably would have space, Star Wars could theoretically get away with just being on planets too.
Yeah, of course.
And I could technically see, I could even see Treasure Planet also just being like, because if we're looking at it in the sense of the movie, if they follow the plot of the movie, they could cut out a lot of the space shit and just have one part of that be space stuff, and then the rest are on their planets.
Yeah. Well, but even actually, Michaela, do you want to say your off-topic thing real quick?
Oh, I was gonna say another funny thing that would just be random for them to do is like if they had something to base off the fucking Goofy movie.
Oh, well, okay. Well, you know what? Actually, here. Save that, because I do want to talk about, you brought up the idea of maybe them doing some of the Disney TV shows. Let's save that, because I do want to come back to that.
Yeah.
I was I was gonna say, because if I had to think about, like, okay, say if they wanted to go with the route of Star Wars, which I do think is very likely for this one,
Yeah, that's totally
like they have done yeah, and this is even beyond, say, like the gummy ship stuff, which in and of itself kind of covers the idea of space, which I don't know. Maybe they might even forego the idea of doing gummy ship stuff this time. I know that that's kind of a classic thing, but since this is kind of this is the beginning of a new era for Kingdom Hearts. All of the stuff that we got up until this point, that was where Xehanort was kind of the overarching villain. This was considered the Dark Seeker saga, right? So what we're doing now is the Lost Master arc. From however many other games that will carry forth after Kingdom Hearts 4. But, so, if, say, for instance, they don't want to even bother with the gummy ship stuff this time, and they want to completely go with kind of a new setup with certain things. They have done a space level before. In Birth by Sleep, we had a Lilo and Stitch level, which was just called Deep Space, and it was literally just like the first 5 minutes of the movie when he's escaping from like the Galactic Alliance or whatever with the... Yes, Hubert, I know. Lilo and Stitch is great. But if I had to guess, I could see a galaxy far, far away, quote unquote, as the chosen space level, way over Treasure Planet any day of the fucking week. As much as I am, and I know that I'll get crucified for this, and probably Michaela would too, I am a much bigger fan of Treasure Planet alone than I am of all of Star Wars. I appreciate Star Wars for what it is, but I'm not a hardcore Star Wars fan. I could see them wanting to drum up a lot more fan excitement over just finally saying fuck it and doing Star Wars, personally. So, for better or worse, I think that's probably... I would go so far as to say I think it's a shoo-in. I think that Star Wars is
I also think
definite.
it's a shoo-in.
Yeah. Because I wasn't even sure if I wanted Pixar for 3. I was kind of hoping that they would stick entirely to first-party Disney stuff for 3. But the Toy Story and Monsters, Inc. levels were fantastic.
It was an inevitability, honestly. I always knew it was going to happen, so I was like...
Well, and apparently to Nomura, he said it was a necessity. He was like, I needed to have Pixar levels for 3. I really wanted that very badly. And I'm glad that he got it, because they're amazing. The Toy Story one in particular, Monsters Inc. one is really good, but the Toy Story level is one of the best in the whole game. It's so much fun. And I'm really excited for when you play that one. Yeah.
Freaking another one that, like, we discussed, like, was Zootopia and seeing Sora as a furry.
Zootopia is, I think, also might be a shoo-in.
I don't know if it'd be a shoo-in, but I can absolutely say it's one of the ones that I want the most, because that is my favorite Disney film, or at least
it's super popular and like everybody loves it.
Yeah.
I don't doubt that it will get some kind of representation.
I would hope so. Absolutely.
I imagine that it was probably
Sora.
But well, that begs the question, kiddos. What animal will he be?
a lion.
Oh, of course, yeah.
To reference his original design.
That's right. Yes, of course. Oh my god. Yeah, we'll finally get that. Yeah, with the little tail and everything. Oh my god. Well, I guess that's it for us, kids. That's the end of that discussion.
Oh god, the weirdest part that I can think of too is Donald and Goofy won't look that much different, but Goofy and Donald would be more furry and feathery.
Yeah, I don't know. Or honestly, they might not even look all that different they might not adapt them to be in the style the way that Sora would have to be.
I don't know. They usually
I think they
do.
Would.
You think so?
Yeah.
Huh.
Like fucking they almost always do it. Like Goofy being a fucking turtle.
Well, we never got any birds, like any kind of fowl in this. That was a distinct decision that they wanted to keep it, I think, all exclusively to mammals.
Yeah, I just imagine he'd be a little fluffier.
Yeah, I guess so. Well, and even in the case of Goofy, were there dogs? I don't remember if there were dogs.
Yeah, there were wolves.
There were wolves, but there weren't like dogs. or
Yeah, but
whatever.
those are canines.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
canine family. Like,
I
trust me.
legitimately just believe they're gonna look fluffier.
Okay,
I do.
yeah, fair enough. Yeah, maybe a little bit more like Sonic. Wow, Hubert as a cat has a lot of opinions about this.
He agrees.
Yeah, Zootopia. That world would be incredible to explore, and I would love to have and especially now that as of 3 we can have multiple party members. Yeah, Nick and Judy. That would be a treat to have that.
I
So.
believe it's a shoo-in. I do.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Well, and since you brought this up, I guess as a quick aside, I don't personally know or think that they would go the route of having Disney TV shows just because they still have so many movies to go through and they're constantly adding.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
no,
think-
like I don't think so, but I thought it was a funny idea because there is a lot of like Disney TV shows, and I'm like, that would be cool for them to maybe acknowledge that in the future. Not necessarily this game, but
yeah.
That's kind of how I feel too. For me, it's another one of those give it time. It'll happen.
Maybe,
I believe that.
Well, I do know, and I think I told you guys this. Apparently, there was like a talk at some point because the creator of Gargoyles mentioned this. I think at a convention panel somewhere. He said like there was a talk about it. I don't think it went very far, and I mean, Disney owns the show, so like that would be completely up to the discretion between both companies. But I don't know. I feel like the fact that they still haven't done it, and and now they have all these other properties with
if you
with
think
like
about
Star Wars.
It kind of already happened.
And what in what sense?
The black and white classic Mickey Mouse world is technically not a movie; it's a show.
Yeah, well, yeah, it was a series of shorts and stuff. And well, actually, that was the same case with in Birth by Sleep. They had Disney Town, which was just like the Mickey Mouse show, like the color type of stuff. That they did at the time. Yeah, but that's also like just classic Mickey Mouse and Friends. Like they just kind of already have that and everything. But that said, actually, because Michaela, you brought up specifically Goofy Movie and Goof Troop as an example. I'm sure.
I just said Goofy Movie because that is a movie and not a show, and I just had that thought process of like, oh, Max would look really cute in the game.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I think
it, but
yeah. I think you and I and probably many other people are in that camp of just like, can you just give us like a Kingdom Hearts version of Max just like back at Disney Castle or something with like
I mean, like
please.
Goofy is so involved in this series. I feel like he just needs to be involved in like the smallest way possible.
Yeah, even if he was just there. Yeah, I mean, because honestly, like the involvement, I think like I can't even remember if Minnie was like in 3 no, I think that maybe she like appeared in it briefly, but I don't think she had any lines if I remember right. But like usually when they show the castle, it's just like here's Minnie and Daisy and Chip and Dale for like a millisecond, or like the the Duckling trio, like the classic versions of them are around, and maybe Scrooge. Scrooge actually appeared briefly in 3 actually, and. Yeah, I honestly, I would settle. I don't think that they would ever do a Goof Troop or Goofy Movie level, but I would settle for just like Max somewhere. Just that would be nice, just because I love him, and the many girls that were his sexual awakening present company may or may not be included. I'm sure would appreciate that too. Nonetheless, sorry, I chicken McCall you out on every Kirblog, Michaela. Nothing of that. No retort.
Eat shit.
Let's see. Okay. Well, back to other movies. Let's look at some classic ones that haven't been addressed. I think I would call Princess and the Frog a classic by this point. Apparently, they are revising Splash Mountain to be in the Disney World parks to be and Disneyland to be Princess and the Frog themed, and it's getting a Disney Plus series apparently.
Yes, it is.
I would love that in Kingdom Hearts.
That's another one where I'm actually thinking it might be a shoe-in, because I think they're just promoting that world, or not world, that movie and its premise so much that Disney would just kind of push them to be like, maybe put this one.
Shoe-in, I think, is... I wouldn't say shoe-in. I would say less of a shoe-in potentially than Zootopia, But
Oh
God,
yeah, no, totally,
but
100% less of a shoe-in than that.
But
But I
goddamn
think
it, I
all
want it.
three
I
are
want it.
possibilities.
Yeah, I really want
those are
it.
the ones that I'm just like, I think they're gonna do it. I think that'll show up.
More than anything else, it is because I want a goddamn boss fight with Dr. Facilier. I want
Yep,
that
me
shit
too.
so hard. Oh my god. Yeah, I love it. I love that movie. I love all the characters. I went to go see that movie in theaters, I think, at least 3 times.
Plus, it's such a notable like film because it was like one of the last of the 2D
It
films that
was.
fucking
Yep.
Disney
Yeah,
ever did.
that's right. Yeah,
That
yeah.
and Winnie the Pooh.
Yeah. And first black Disney princess, I believe, as well.
Yep.
You know,
Yeah,
so yeah,
it's
yeah.
such a notable film that it just needs to be in Kingdom Hearts.
I guess what would we so I guess the majority of it would be like while they're frogs, so I guess we'd probably get Sora, Donald, and Goofy as oh no, I know exactly what it would be. Just like always, Donald would be like an actual like small life-size duck. Goofy would be a small sea turtle, or not a sea turtle, a like a pond turtle, because he's always a turtle in the animal ones. And then Sora would probably just be another frog, like Tiana and oh, what's the prince's name?
Naveen.
Naveen.
Prince Naveen.
Yes, yes, I love him. It's actually a polished marvel. Yeah, I would love that. I just want to fucking fight Dr. Facilier. I need that in my life. I need it. Classic. Well, and I guess this could also involve reoccurring ones because the little hint of Hades at the tail end of the trailer means like, well, I guess we will once again get some version of Olympus in there because of course
it's a tradition.
Will. Absolutely. So I'm like, all right, yeah, fine, sure. And I personally, and I was shocked that this was not the case in Kingdom Hearts 3. I would like to go back to Agrabah because I want Aladdin and the King of Thieves.
I do too.
Yeah. Michaela, have you seen King of Thieves?
She is BRB.
Oh, good. All
Sorry.
She's not BRB.
Never mind.
I had a phone call and I have to leave shortly. Actually.
Oh, okay.
Yes, I've seen all the Aladdin movies.
Yeah, Aladdin and the King of Thieves.
And I've also seen the TV. I've also seen the TV show.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, more so than I have. Yeah, I have wanted that. I want to go to the back of the sea turtle with the big castle and like the hand of Midas and all that stuff. I want to have Aladdin and Aladdin's hot dad as my 2 party members.
Yep.
I have wanted that for a very long time because they did Return of Jafar in Kingdom Hearts 2. I was really hoping that 3 would have the 3rd one because that would have been perfect. Unfortunately, they did not. So that would be nice. In terms of other, like, I guess, yeah, I don't know, other 2D ones that we haven't gotten yet.
I have always wanted, the Great Mouse Detective.
Yeah. Okay.
We've talked about this a little bit. We haven't mentioned it yet, but we've talked about that. Usually, even though we all want a Treasure Planet level, they usually don't do flops, and that one isn't. That one was never a flop. That one was a movie that I was surprised never got a sequel. It could possibly be because the estate of the author of
that's right. Yeah,
it is a public domain thing, but it's that they're weird about it. Thankfully, I think the Great Mouse Detective is detached enough to where it shouldn't be a problem.
Yeah.
Because I mean, God, to reference, I mostly know this because Ace Attorney had 2 games that were Japan exclusive forever for that exact reason.
Yes.
Because they went back in time and Phoenix's ancestor was going around with Sherlock Holmes.
Yeah.
And the main reason why it never came over was because that estate is famously weird and suey about that stuff.
Yeah.
And what they did was they just changed Sherlock Holmes' name. I forget what it is, but it was
like Murloc Sholmes or something like that.
Yeah, it's fucking goofy.
Yeah.
So if that is enough, then the Great Mouse Detective should be fine.
Well, by the way, first of all, when you said fucking goofy, it reminded me of that cartoon that Hans von Harken made about when Mickey takes Minnie to court because and he's like, you said you were suing your wife because she was extremely silly. That's not what I said. I said she was fucking goofy. I adore that movie. That was one of my favorites growing up. I think, much like how my thought that Star Wars would take priority as the space level over Treasure Planet, I think that actually, even though I don't think it's a shoo-in, compared to other movies, I think that Princess and the Frog is the one that would get picked as the we are getting shrunken down level. And granted, there have been cases where they have done that multiple times. However, I am very sure that Toy Story will have another level in this game.
I don't doubt it.
Because, again, without spoiling stuff, the Toy Story level in 3 is extremely significant because it introduces certain concepts that were not previously explored in other Kingdom Hearts games in terms of some of the world building stuff. Including, I'll just the one little hint that I'll give is that the thing that I made about the comment about like Quadratum is a fictional world. The first little hints of what that means are actually addressed in the Toy Story stage, and that level was set, I believe, I was either between 1 and 2 or between 2 and 3. I think it was 1 and 2. So much like the other ones that had multiple sequels, there's so much material, there's so many other things that they could do, and the fact that actually that was kind of an interesting thing where they kind of expanded upon the Toy Story world, and they didn't necessarily have it be, okay, it's the plot of that movie, and it was just, it's in the Toy Story world, and they made kind of an original story that involved the characters and things. So I think that they'll revisit the toy box and do some more stuff.
Yeah,
like that in the future.
I can see that.
Yeah.
Another one that I could probably see them doing that is a successful movie, and I'm surprised they've never done it because they are perfectly aware that this movie is like beloved, is The Emperor's New Groove.
Yeah.
People fucking love that movie.
That is one of my favorite Disney movies.
Mine too.
That one I don't know, honestly.
I now that I look it up, it might not have been as successful as I thought, but still, they
yeah.
know it's beloved. It
is beloved. It definitely is not as like much of a cult class. Because you know what, it was successful enough that it got a TV series and a direct-to-video sequel with Kronk's New Groove, which I've never seen.
Yep.
But I don't know about that one. I don't know, honestly. In fact, you know what? Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, let me jot down a list because let's see. Okay, Star Wars, I think is pretty much a shoo-in. Toy Story, I think so as well.
Yeah, I do too.
Zootopia, I think is pretty high up. Princess and the Frog as well.
Yeah.
Let me. I'm trying to think of some other ones that seem like. What were some other Pixar films that and like some of the more recent CG movies?
Coco.
That's right. Yes, you mentioned
Talk
Coco.
about Coco.
Yeah, I think Coco would be really, really cool.
Yeah,
I could see them doing that. Going to
that would be a super fun world to explore. We get to see skeleton Sora.
Yeah,
that would be fun.
I think that as much as I loved some of these recent Pixar movies, I don't actually know now that in retrospect, I don't know if Luca or Turning Red would necessarily happen.
I just had a thought.
Yeah.
That I didn't think about
until
this moment. You're right. They're probably going to do another Toy Story world.
Yeah.
Are they going to do a Lightyear world?
I don't think so. I think that they would stick to the regular Toy Story thing because Lightyear, I know it's coming out soon, and granted it is at a point where it could still be, in time for the movie. But
here's a question:
yeah.
Is it was in the third game?
Yeah.
Was the Toy Story world based on like which movie? Was it based on Toy Story 4?
No, so I was telling Jerem while you were off on your phone call briefly. The Toy Story world, if I'm remembering correctly, it takes place either between 1 and 2 or 2 and 3. I think it was between 1 and 2.
Yeah, so it would make more sense that in Kingdom Hearts 4, it's going to be based on Toy Story 4.
Yeah,
Not-
or
not to
probably
mention-
probably between two of the other movies.
You could even make the argument, because this game is going to be talking more about worlds that are fictional
Yes.
within this universe.
Yeah.
And the director of the most recent Lightyear said this is a movie that would happen in the Toy Story universe.
That's
something
right.
Andy would go and see.
Yeah,
So what could
yeah.
happen is that there's still going to be a Toy Story world, but at some point you get to go into that movie.
Okay, that's a very good point that you just made, because I'll tell you something else about the Toy Story level. There is a mini game that where Sora goes inside of a video game. And young Xehanort from Dream Drop Distance, who is kind of like, because every Kingdom Hearts 3 level has like an organization member that's like the villain of that stage, basically. He talks about how that is related to the fictional world type stuff. So
Jesus, I didn't even think
What's that?
that if they did do shows, Buzz Lightyear and Star Command is a possibility too.
But you know what?
Because
but
that's
between
also a
the two,
TV show in that universe.
But I think that between the two, if they were to do that, because that's a very good point.
Yeah, no, Lightyear would be first, but I'm just saying that's also something that could happen.
Yeah, I know, and I know there's so much love for that show, but I feel like even Lightyear is kind of just like, no, we're just doing our own thing with this. It's not related to that, unfortunately.
Well, yeah, but they're
even though Star Command is also canon to Toy Story, by the way.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying though. In their universe, that's just the TV show, and this is the theatrical movie.
Yeah,
they could still both exist.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah, they could even make a joke about, well, it's kind of going against the continuity. Not that they would ever make. God, it would be the funniest thing in the world if because Rex is like the fanboy. It'd be the funniest thing in the world if Rex of all characters in fucking Kingdom Hearts would be the one to be like, well, actually, this is my shitty Wallace Shawn impression.
It would be so interesting just to see toy Buzz Lightyear meet theatrical movie Buzz Lightyear and be like, wow, this is what they did to me.
Yeah. Well, it is worth noting that in the video game segment, when they go inside the video game, Sora is the only one that does it. He doesn't bring the other characters with him. Yeah,
okay.
And that might have been a particular detail, actually. But if I had to guess, the Toy Story world that would be in 4 will probably be between either 2, because I'm pretty sure that the level in 3 was based between 1 and 2, and I think that the next one would either be between 3 and 4, or 2 and 3, or 3 and 4, depending on what route that they wanted to go. But and I guess also depending on how much time they want to have pass as well. So. But, by the way, I'm an idiot. I just remembered another one. This is a 110 billion% shoo-in. There will be a Frozen 2 level.
Yeah, I was going to mention that at some point, but
yeah. Yeah, I've still not seen it. I'm sure it's a fine movie. The Frozen level in 3 is, it's fun. It's okay. The most hilarious thing in the world to me is that it just literally has the Let It Go sequence in it. Like, the entire thing is just in the game, which is really weird to me. So I was, Mickey, while you were gone, I had a list jotted down. Star Wars, Toy Story, Zootopia, Princess and the Frog, Coco, Frozen 2. So that's 6 so far that I think are, like, pretty likely for this one.
Yeah.
So, trying to think of some other ones that we haven't covered yet. I was saying, I forgot if you were here or not, but I think that Luca and Turning Red, I don't necessarily think would get
No,
stages.
they're too new. They're way too new.
Well, and not even just that, but also, like, maybe not necessarily, like, enough to like have action in there, I guess, like compared to
Mhm.
other kinds of movies and stuff.
I could see the main character of Turning Red being a summon.
Oh yeah, as a panda, yeah, that could be kind of
Yeah.
cool. Yeah, that'd be cute.
She could show up as the little girl and then transform into the panda in one of those really cinematic animations they
Yeah.
do. Just,
Well, actually, that's a reminder of something. Okay, so one of the biggest disappointments for 3, unfortunately, was there was no Wreck-It Ralph stage. One that
yeah.
I thought was
Still want that.
I
Still
do.
want
I
that.
really do, and I was shocked because that was one I thought was another 110,000% shoo-in, and it wasn't. And they just made Ralph a summon. That was it. And I'm like, now that said, of course, in the first game, Simba and Mushu were both summons. And they did in the immediate next game. They had a Mulan level and a Lion King level. So
They did.
yeah, so it is very possible that they could still do a Wreck-It Ralph level.
Oh shit! Duh. Incredibles.
Incredibles, yes, that's right. Yep, okay, that's one that I think is very
That one
likely.
would be.
Yeah,
We all talked
Absolutely.
about that,
Yes, we
and
did.
just we're all in the same like. Yeah, that would be awesome.
And it's so funny. Every time we've had the discussion, it's the one that we remember like an hour later for some reason.
Yeah, I think we also mentioned that they could do another Monsters Inc.
You know what? I actually
Yeah.
think that Incredibles would be the other Pixar movie that they would do in place of another Monsters Inc. level, personally. I think that, not that I would mind another Monsters Inc. level, but I think that Toy Story is more likely to have a repeat, and I think that Incredibles would be more likely to be like, hey, here's another different Pixar movie in place of Monsters Inc., personally.
Right.
And I would think probably based on the first one.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah. Or
I could see
actually,
I could see him doing both. Honestly,
or they could go the route of because here's the thing, the nice angle that they went with 3 is that not every level was here's the plot of the movie, but the gang is just there for it. Because like in comparison, the Pirates of the Caribbean 3 stage was just Pirates 3, right? And just Sora, Donald, and Goofy are there. But the Toy Story and the Monsters Inc. levels were not during the movies. They were actually after. Like Monsters Inc. was that the Monstropolis level was after the movie, and Boo is just visiting. So, Incredibles, if they did an Incredibles level, and as a matter of fact, they did this in the Incredibles video game, The Rise of the Underminer. If anybody fucking remembers that thing. They made video games that took place after the first movie, so it could be something like that where it's just in the Incredibles world. And if they're not going to do, because the Big Hero 6 level in 3 was the city level, they could do that for Incredibles.
Yeah.
But then again,
Quadratum I could
exists,
see them, which this would be really fun.
Yeah,
I could see them actually showing up in the golden age of superheroes back in the day.
Oh, okay.
And you even get little references, like you see some of the dead superheroes.
Oh, yeah.
Show up on the list. I think that would be kind of fun.
I think that it would be more likely to be when the kids are around, because like
probably,
I'm sure they want Daphne and Violet.
But I still, because the big problem with doing that, is that would mean timeline wise, you would have to play, if you're not doing something that is directly involved in the story, you have to place it after the second movie.
That could be the case, yeah, because I also just thought about how, when I was thinking of what are the environments, if it's like the city where like they fight Syndrome or whatever, well, they already have Quadratum as a city world. And then if it's like the island that Syndrome owns, well, then that's just another, kind of woods type stage that will probably be covered by other ones. So it would probably have to be some other kind of unique location, and I don't know. I can't think of something from 2. I guess it could be something else. I'm not sure.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If it's like the golden era of superheroes, they could take them anywhere.
Yeah, I don't know.
They could just make an original environment because it's like a cartoonified real world.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
They could go anywhere with it.
God, I'm still trying to think. I feel like there's always like obvious ones that I'm just not thinking of. That Noise I'm gonna
Let's
look up a.
I've got a list.
Disney animated features
yeah.
and stuff. Yeah.
Snow. I already did that.
Yeah, they've covered like a good majority of.
Yeah,
the,
they've covered
feature
most of the
films.
classic movies.
Yeah.
They did Robin Hood too, right?
No, they actually have not done Robin Hood, believe it or not.
Wow, I'm shocked.
Yeah, they came close to doing Jungle Book at some point. It was going to be in Birth by Sleep, and then they ended up
that's the cut level.
Yes.
I remember seeing
that's right.
on Did You Know Game?
That's right. I think yeah, man, Wreck-It Ralph would be good. I think that Wreck-It Ralph might have a shot, even though he was a summon. And oh, you know what? Okay, no. Actually, okay, I think Wreck-It Ralph actually does have a decent shot.
I do too.
Because because of that connection that I mentioned about the video games thing in Toy Story. I think that Game Central Station and that whole thing, and the fact that like, oh, video games can exist as fictional worlds, that makes me think that that could be a plot point. That Wreck-It Ralph, that Game Central Station in Mr. Litwack's arcade, that could be a legit plot point in the game. So yeah, you know what? Now that I think of that, I think Wreck-It Ralph, or at the very least, I would really, really, really like that to be the case. I think that would be very cool.
At this point, it's like I'm realizing they're kind of running out of classic Disney movies to work with.
Yeah. Well, looking at them all, they've done Snow White, Pinocchio, Fantasia. I don't think we'll get Dumbo or Bambi.
Probably
not. Let's see. We got. I don't think they'll do.
We have gotten references to them though.
Yes, because Dumbo and Bambi have both been summons. We got Cinderella, Alice in Wonderland, Peter Pan. We have not gotten Lady and the Tramp. I don't think that's likely. Sleeping Beauty. The 101 Dalmatians were just items that you could collect.
They've always been just items.
You know what's funny? Our friend Dip said she would love Sword in the Stone. We've always had Merlin around in like almost every game, but never Sword in the Stone. We've never seen his world. And I don't know if we would at this point. I don't know about that.
I mean, if they still want to keep adding classic levels as much as they do, why not?
I think that's pretty unlikely, to be honest. But even though, again, love that movie too. Jungle Book, I don't think so. Aristocats, probably not. Robin Hood, probably not. Winnie the Pooh will probably get a mini game level again because he always does. I don't think the Rescuers, Fox and the Hound, Black Cauldron, probably not. Oliver Company, doubt it. Great Mouse Detective, would love that, but again, I think Princess and the Frog has a higher probability. Little Mermaid, the fact that like Ariel actually is also a summon in the third one because
she also got two worlds.
Yeah, I think they've kind of like expended as much as they want to do.
What
with
else
that.
are they gonna fucking do?
Yeah.
They did an exploration world in Kingdom Hearts 1, and then they did a musical world in Kingdom Hearts 2. That's all you fucking need. They both suck.
Yeah. Rescuers, no. Beauty and the Beast, they've done. Aladdin, they've done. I would like to see Agrabah for one last time. Lion King, I mean, they could do Lion King 2 or like some of the other like the Lion Guard stuff or whatever, but I don't know. I think that Zootopia is probably the more likely
I agree.
animals world. Pocahontas, no way.
No way.
Notre Dame, they've done. Hercules will be in there in some way.
Yeah, they always are.
Yeah, Tarzan, they've done. Fantasia 2000, no, we're good. Dinosaurs, Dinosaurs, a movie that barely exists. Emperor's New Groove, I wish, but doubt it. Atlantis, I wish, probably not.
That would make such a fucking interesting world too. It would be so visually different.
I'd love it. Lilo and Stitch, I wouldn't count out, but I don't.
Yeah, because the actual like world in what was it, Birth by Sleep or whatever?
It was literally just the first 5 minutes of the movie when he's in space. And then it would be a beach level. It would be Hawaii basically.
Yeah,
Um,
they could do the other movies too, where you have to deal with
oh
the
yeah, the other experiments. Yeah, I mean, well,
yeah,
they threw in Sparky in the deep space level, so
yep.
yeah, that's not impossible. Treasure Planet, I wish, no fucking way. Brother Bear and Home on the Range, very, very probably not at all.
I
Uh,
could see Brother Bear happening, but it's definitely low on the
I
list. Home on the Range
super
will
doubt
never
it. No
happen.
way.
Brother Bear is a success. I could see it happening,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
like the aesthetic of the location is unique looking enough to where I think they could do it.
Well,
It's low.
but honestly, the next string of movies, okay, Treasure Planet, Brother Bear, Home on the Range, Chicken Little, which did have a summon into, Meet the Robinsons, and Bolt. So I'm not criticizing the validity. Like I like a lot of these movies, but I feel like that those movies would elicit the type of like, wow, they're really scraping the bottom of the barrel if they chose this movie.
Chicken Little isn't ever going to happen. Meet the Robinsons could work. Bolt will never happen.
But Meet the Robinsons and Bolt compared to Incredibles, I really doubt it, honestly.
Well, yeah. The thing I think that has to be mentioned here is that because they're sort of running out of old classic movies to do, they're either going to have to start pulling from, if they want new shit, they either have to pull from like the middling stuff like this, the new stuff which they will, but variety. They want a variety of different kinds of worlds,
Yeah.
or Pixar. So the option here is they could either add one of these obscure movies, they could add more of the like more recent shit, or they add more Pixar levels.
Yeah. Well,
So
yeah, I want to run through those too.
yeah, it depends on how much they want to shake up how they normally do it.
Yeah.
Because
well,
if
the fact that Hades is still around and they have literally done absolutely everything they possibly could from the Hercules film at this point, but they're still going to probably have some presence of Olympus anyway because of various things.
Yeah, I'll say this for sure. If they're sticking to the formula, one of these weird curveball movies are going to show up.
Maybe so. Yeah. Princess and the Frog, I do think has a chance. Tangled, they've done. I don't think they'll repeat Tangled unless they want to do stuff from the show, but I doubt it. Winnie the Pooh, yeah, again, minigame level. Wreck-It Ralph would be nice. Frozen 2 is a definite. Big Hero 6, they could do more with, but I actually don't think
I'd rather them not.
Yeah, Zootopia, would love that. Oh, I remember it. I remember it now. No. Moana. Yeah, Moana. Because if they don't do, this is the thing, if they don't do another Pirates level, which would be based on Pirates 4 and 5, or either or, I'm pretty sure Moana was more successful than the last couple Pirates of the Caribbean movies. Moana could be the ocean level in place of the pirate stage. So
the only issue I see with this is that they, no matter what, they're going to have to stretch out one of the set pieces in this. It would have to be the underworld. Because there's too much time in this movie on the ocean and there's nothing on the ocean.
Yeah.
It's just pretty looking effects, and that's a problem for a video game level.
Yeah, I could see them doing it like the way that the Caribbean stage in 3 is, where you explore a bunch of different islands and then you like spend time on certain ones doing shit in the plot. And then
I don't know.
There's support and stuff.
I don't know if they would go that ambitious with a stage like that.
I don't know. Listen, after what they did with the Pirates level, I absolutely think.
But the Pirates level's got shit that they can do. Moana is a very straightforward movie with only one movie under its belt.
Yeah.
It doesn't have a giant world that it's like built up over time.
So do you think that a Pirates 4 or 5 level would be more likely than Moana in comparison then?
No, I don't.
Okay.
But I don't think that's how they'll do it.
Okay, fair enough. And then let's see. Raya and the Last Dragon.
Oh boy.
I mean, I haven't seen it, so I shrug.
No one has.
So. Encanto, I also kind of don't think that they would.
Yeah, I loved Encanto. I don't know what the fuck they would do for an entire level. I could see summons. That's about it.
Yeah. Okay, and then looking at list of Pixar movies, yeah, Toy Story I think will be back. Bugs Life I think would make a really cool level, but I doubt it.
I don't think that's happening.
I don't think that
soon.
I don't think they'll repeat a Monsters Inc. level. I don't think they'll do a Finding Nemo level. I don't think they'll do an Incredibles level. I kind of really want to wait for Michaela to come back before we talk about the idea of a very high likely possibility of there being a Cars level. I'll just put a pin in that. Ratatouille is a mini game in 3. They could bring Remy back as a cooking mini game again. Wall-E, doubt it. Up, don't think so. Brave, probably not.
I don't know about that one.
Brave?
I don't like Brave. No, that's not fair. Like most people, I haven't seen Brave. But it's a Disney princess, and I think there's always a possibility of a Disney princess showing up.
Maybe.
Even the weird ones.
Maybe, but I think compared to other Pixar movies, it's probably pretty low on the totem pole for consideration. Inside Out, I think, would be really, really fascinating. In which case, I guess it would have to be the inside of Riley's mind. Or actually, it could also be the inside of some other person's mind that has their own set of the 5 emotions.
What if they captured one of the fucking True Organization 13 members and then brought them there and went through his mind, and it's the mind of
because here's the thing actually about that. There are cases where there are some experiments that happened and they try to dive into the minds of people and things like that. So like there are and like non-intrusive experiments that they do with some of the characters in Hollow Bastion. If you remember Xehanort, and some of the Wise, his original researchers, the guys that were like his understudies that became a bunch of the organization members, they were all helping with certain experiments that were trying to be like productive in a good way. I could see them diving into the mind of a character, and they happen to have the 5 emotion characters, but they're presented in a way that are very similar. Because like in Inside Out, like the 5 emotions of like the mom and the dad and like the kid that Riley has a crush on or has a crush on Riley or whatever, they're all like kind of executed differently. They could just do it in a way where like, whoever this character we're diving into the mind of, they're just very similar to the joy, sadness, anger, disgust, and fear that are in Riley, and we just kind of accepted at that. So that could be really cool. I would love to go to like the imagination and the inside of the mind of somebody. That could be kind of cool. And again, relating to the whole thing about the idea of fictional worlds, I think that could possibly be related to the deeper part of the plot. So who knows? Good Dinosaur, absolutely not. Finding Dory, probably not. Coco would be cool. And again, also, the afterworld could be related to the plot. I think that's very likely. Incredibles. I think that Michaela brought up Onward.
Yeah, I don't think it's happening, though.
No, I mean, it was successful.
It wasn't.
It wasn't? Oh,
no, it wasn't.
Okay,
we talked about that. It wasn't successful.
Okay. I think she also said Soul.
Yeah, I don't know how much they could do with Soul, but
yeah, I haven't seen Soul.
I know a bit about that movie, and it just seems too chill to be that.
Yeah. Well, and again, related to stuff with the afterlife. So humanly possible and could be related to the story. But I haven't seen it, so I don't know how much necessarily. That could be debatable, and I don't know how that could work necessarily either. We don't have an ETA from Michaela with the phone call she had to take, so do we want to talk about Cars for a second?
Yes, it's possible. Okay, I know it's possible. Do I want it? No.
I don't want it either. I mean, I think it would be really funny.
It's a really successful aspect about fucking. It's one of the most successful movies that they had just purely off of merchandise sales.
Yeah, the toy sales alone, absolutely.
So it's totally one that I could see Pixar Disney being like, you should put this in here.
Oh,
I don't want it.
Yeah. Oh, good Lord in heaven. Well, okay, so looking at my list, we got, I jotted down Star Wars, Toy Story, Zootopia, Princess and the Frog, Coco, Frozen 2, Incredibles, Wreck-It Ralph, Hercules, Lilo and Stitch, Moana, Inside Out, Soul, Cars. So that's quite a list. I should point out that Michaela got invited out by her local friends to go get sushi, so she can go enjoy that. Lamau. Go follow her, twitter.com/ToxicSouls77. Anyway, yeah, so that's quite a list. So what are we thinking for the faux shows? I would say
Star Wars and
Yeah.
Zootopia and Toy Story. I'm all faux show.
Okay, all right.
Same with Frozen 2.
Frozen
Those,
2.
I think those are my four for sure ones.
Okay.
Hercules is just showing up.
Yeah.
It's not even a for sure thing. We just know it is.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Let's see. I think Incredibles. Actually, I think
I would love that.
I think Incredibles will be the other Pixar movie if they have like only two, like the way that they did in the previous game. I think that'll be the case.
Mm-hmm.
So that's 6 to start with. I would like Princess and Frog.
I would too. I think there's a high possibility. That's in my one that's below Shoe-In. That's in my highly possible one.
Yeah,
Same with Wreck-It Ralph.
yeah. I'll also put Wreck-It Ralph as well.
Yeah.
So to start with, that's 8. So we have Star Wars as a space level. We have Toy Story as a suburban level. We have Zootopia as like town level, I guess. Princess and the Frog as swamp level. Frozen 2 as ice and whatever else where they go level. Incredibles as
whatever that ends up being.
that ends up being. Hercules as
Is Hercules the arena level as it always is.
And Wreck-It Ralph, well, that would mainly be, desserts and sweets level because it's mostly going to be, unless they do something else with it, it's probably mostly going to be, what's it called? Sugar Rush, is what I would think. You know what? I'm gonna say Moana. I'm actually gonna
I could see it.
Moana.
I can.
Yeah.
It's not in my. It would be for me. It would be in the tier below, like highly possible, and it would probably just be a probability.
Okay. Yeah,
Like,
fair enough.
I can see it happening. If it is a level, I don't think it's going to be a particularly long one.
Mm-hmm.
I think it'll be on the shorter side, but I can see it.
Okay.
I think Coco is a high possibility.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Coco, maybe.
It's not a shoo-in, not at all, but it's a high possibility for me.
It'd be a very cool world, and it would be a lot of fun and visually beautiful.
It would remind me a lot of how they did the Big Hero 6 world, where it's this big open place that you're just like jumping up around and having fun exploring.
I think my one hesitation with Coco is the party members, where I don't know if they would have, and it's been such a long time, I don't remember the characters' names, unfortunately, but the kid and then the character that turns out to be the ancestor. Like, I mean, I don't know. I guess they could probably make that work as playable.
They could fight with music.
Yeah,
they could literally swing the guitars around. That'd be funny.
Be bards.
Honestly, they just do that.
Yeah.
They've done crazier. Like
Wreck-It Ralph, I guess, would be Ralph and Vanellope probably.
Of course.
Yeah. Incredibles, I guess could be anything.
God, I could see it being Wreck-It Ralph and Vanellope, and then at one point, fucking the king becomes an ally, and then it gets betrayed. Sora's like, I trusted you. He's
Well,
like,
no, actually, you know what? When it comes to a Wreck-It Ralph stage, I could see that being another case where they would put it between the movies. I think it would be between 1 and 2.
You could also have Felix and his wife too.
Yeah, that's true. But I think that because it seems like they have a max of 2 party members per level now, because Toy Story has Woody and Buzz and all that. Star Wars, I imagine, will probably just be Luke. Well, and I mean, I guess that's a whole nother subtopic of like, what part of Star Wars would they do? And I'm just gonna go ahead and say I think that they would do the original trilogy.
I think so too.
Yeah, that seems
I
like
could see them doing any of them, but if that world is Endor, like I think it is, it's the original trilogy.
Yeah.
So it's probably going to be Luke and Han.
Yeah.
Or fucking Luke and R2-D2, which would be funny.
R2-D2 just runs around with a gun and goes, Wah!
No, it's like Lego Star Wars where he goes around and he tases people.
Yeah. Well, I would normally say that after here we could also talk about what are your predictions when it comes to the story, but unfortunately,
I don't know shit.
you don't shit because you guys haven't played 3 yet. So maybe that will be a part 2 of this. But for the time being, I figured that just talking about what worlds could be in it, that alone could be plenty of material for a Kirblog. So I appreciate that. So thank you, Jerm. It's funny. You said, "Oh, I'm not going to carry 50% of this conversation," and then you ended up doing that by the end of it. So good job.
Well, yeah.
Anyway, all right. Well, you can you're what JT_Beyond on Twitter.
Yeah, J_T_Beyond.
Yes, go follow him. You can follow Michaela at Toxic Soul 77. And I guess once again, if you have any Kirblog topic suggestions or anything, let me know. I would like to start doing more again because I'm really trying to get at least like a couple things out, every month. 'Cause, in between all the writing shit that I have to do, it's been a little crazy, but I'm doing my best. So yeah, thanks everybody for your support, and I'll see you all in the next one. And remember, let your heart be your guiding key.
P.
When you walk out.